Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another I Can Do It Myself video. If this is your first time here, I'm a do-it-yourselfer, and in these videos, we are reviewing yard tools, namely Ego products. Last week we reviewed the mower, and this week we are reviewing the hedge trimmers. The Ego line is 56 volts, and the nice thing with their line of tools is they set it up so that they can fit every size battery into their tools. So you can put the small ones in there or the big ones. Some of the other types of tools, I think Cobalt's one of them, they have pockets so the larger batteries won't actually fit into some of the tools. So these are the hedge trimmers. I believe they are 24 inches in length. They come with this cover on here. It's just a plastic cover. And they are one of the older models. I believe they've come out with newer models since then. So these particular hedge trimmers have two switches. There's one in the handle back here, and then there's one in the handle up here. So they're designed so that you're supposed to have two handles on the tool. I have a Velcro strap on here to hold one of the buttons down. Not the safest thing in the world, I admit it, but I had some stuff where I was having to hold with one hand and really stretch up there in order to try and trim, but that stuff's gone, so I could take the Velcro strap off, I just haven't. And as long as you're careful and paying attention, then you should be fine, but I am not advising you do that. You do that at your own risk. They do have teeth on both sides, and I think they can cut stuff up to 3/4 of an inch, if I'm not mistaken. They can cut some pretty decent sized stuff. So I don't have a lot of stuff to trim with the hedge trimmers, but I do have some stuff, and it just makes it a lot quicker and easier. And since I have Ego products, I went ahead and picked up the Ego hedge trimmers. And when you need a battery, you might as well buy a tool with a battery because you're pretty much getting the tool just about for free. So this is a 2.5 amp hour battery, and as you can see, it fits on there just fine. The 2 amp hours probably, or the 2.5 is probably more balanced because obviously the bigger batteries you go, the heavier it gets. But the 5 amp hour battery does fit on here, and it's not that bad. It's totally usable. I've done it plenty of times, but I just wanted to show that it does fit on there. So I told you that I didn't have very much to cut, just these bushes up here, which are honeysuckle, and I trim the cypress from time to time when they have those runners that are kind of just dangling out. I can't stand it when it's doing that, so I like to clean them up. There's really not much to cut in the backyard anymore. What I did have in the backyard was hanging over the wall from neighbors, and they have since removed those plants. I have some bougainvillea. If you're not from Arizona, bougainvillea have those really bright pink flowers, but they also have nasty thorns. I always said that I would never have them as an adult, but I ended up planting them on the back wall because there's an alley back there, so I wanted them to grow big, so if anybody did decide to jump my wall, they were gonna have at least a bad day. And so I have them. They have yet to grow big after 12 years. It was 2009 that I planted them, so it's been 12 years, and they have yet to grow big. So I'm about this close to just removing them because those thorns suck. And that's one of the things I don't like about Arizona. everything has thorns. But back to the hedge trimmers. I love the hedge trimmers. I don't think you'd be displeased with them. You'll notice something common across all the Ego tools. The batteries are the only thing that I have an issue with. They're very expensive and they don't last as long as what Ego says. Ego says that they'll last 1,000 charge cycles, so charge and discharge. And the last battery that went bad, I had it for 4 years, and there's no way that I hit 1,000 cycles in 4 years, because a maximum of 1 charge a week only adds up to 200 charges. Nowhere close to 1,000. So I know that they're not holding up to what Ego claims. So that is the one disadvantage to Ego products, and the thing that I am displeased with. Mostly the 2 most recent batteries that I purchased, I am going as far as keeping track of every time I charge them, just so that when they do go bad, I can go back to Ego and say, look, this is how many charges I got out of it. And I am not charging them until they are completely discharged. Hopefully I can get a little bit more data on there and get the info to Ego and maybe go from there. Another thing, I do wear earplugs, even though these tools are considerably quieter than gas-powered tools, because I have tinnitus, and if you don't know what that is, it's constant ringing in the ears. Sometimes it's so loud that it'll keep me awake at night, so I'm trying not to make it worse. That's why it's possibility in some of my other videos you've seen me wearing earplugs whenever I'm doing projects. I use Surefire earplugs because I can keep them in my ears the longest without hurting or anything like that, any discomfort. And I'm trying to keep the tinnitus from getting any worse. But if you don't have any issues with that, they are definitely not loud or obnoxious. So the hedge trimmers, definitely thumbs up here. And yeah, so I guess that does it for the review on the hedge trimmers. Catch us next week. We are going to do more Ego reviews. See ya.